proudly brought to you by
Hello, I'm Rex Lita with Monday's News. Thanks for joining us. In this edition, fuel price increases, Yafai freed of misappropriation, and Hunters lose first match. As the conflict in the Middle East continues, the Central Bank of Papua New Guinea says it is closely monitoring the situation and will respond with policy setting when the need arises. For now, the bank says inflation remains contained with adequate reserves in place. Governor of Central Bank Elizabeth Genia provided this insight during a breakfast this morning at the Hilton Hotel in Port Moresby.
Central Bank Governor Elizabeth Genia, in presenting the March outlook on the economy, inflation and monetary policy, also indicated the bank's preparedness given the uncertainty of the events unfolding in the Middle East. She noted that global inflation was on a downward path from a 4.1% in 2025 to a projected 3.8% in 2026, driven by tight monetary policy, declining energy prices, and easing supply chain disruptions. That was the global picture until 10 days ago, when the outbreak of conflict in the Middle East introduced a new and significant source of uncertainty into the global economic outlook. The disruption to maritime transport and energy supply in the region has also pushed global energy prices sharply higher. If the conflict persists and energy prices remain elevated, the effects could be far more consequential. For PNG, the governor described the situation as a double-edged sword.
Disruptions in this region can quickly affect global oil and gas prices. This is why events in this part of the world can translate very quickly into global energy supply shocks. To understand what this means for Papua New Guinea, it is helpful to step back and look at how the global LNG market is structured.
In the meantime, Governor Genia indicated that the country's reserves remain healthy.
In an increasingly uncertain global environment, our location strengthens Papua New Guinea's position as a stable and reliable energy supplier to the region. The experience in many countries shows that supply shocks of this kind will temporarily put upward pressure on inflation. While we don't know how prolonged this disruption will be, monetary policy does not typically attempt to offset the immediate price effects of these price shocks. However, the committee will monitor events closely to ensure they do not develop into more persistent second-round inflationary pressure across the broader economy and stands ready to adjust policy settings as necessary to maintain price stability.
Explaining GDP growth, she said that GDP was projected to grow at 3%, representing a return to a more sustainable pace of growth after an exceptional strong 2025, but noted that this was the projection done before the arrival of the Middle East conflict. Genia said the full economic consequences will depend on how the conflict unfolds and how long it continues. Susan Oreape, TVWAN News.
Fuel consumers will be digging deeper into their pockets in April as conflict in the Middle East between Israel, USA and Iran intensifies. According to consumers watchdog of PNG, the Independent Consumer and Competition Commission, the increase in crude oil prices in February is driven by unplanned supply outages due to severe weather conditions and geopolitical tensions between the US and Iran.
The Independent Consumer and Competition Commission has predicted that the recent US-Israel-Iran war, which erupted on February 28, 2026, would affect the domestic prices in PNG next month, given the one-month lag in domestic price calculations. The ICCC announced that the new retail fuel prices for this month was effective Sunday, March 8, 2026. For this month, the indicative retail prices for petrol, diesel, and kerosene will all increase on average throughout the nation. The respective movement for the retail prices for the three declared petroleum products are attributed to the Singapore price movements benchmarked against the mean of Platts Singapore. The MOPS prices for refined petroleum products have increased in February. These increases were broadly consistent with the upward movement in crude oil prices. ICCC further advised that the domestic retail fuel prices for this month are inclusive of the IPP for its petroleum product, domestic sea and road freight rates for the first quarter of 2026, the approved annual wholesale and retail margins for 2026, and the goods and services tax, including the applicable excise duties, among other parameters. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
The Supreme Court today freed Jacob Yafai of all 4 counts of misappropriation, noting that trial judges in the National Court erred in their decision, leading to a substantial miscarriage of justice. On the charge of abuse of office, the Supreme Court was satisfied with the National Court decision and dismissed the grounds of appeal for this charge. Basically, this means a reduction of 20 years in prison time for 22 years.
Yafai was sentenced to 22 years in prison last year for 4 counts of misappropriation and 1 count of abuse of office. His lawyer, Edward Sasingyan from Sasingyan Lawyers, immediately filed an appeal, quoting 3 grounds for the misappropriation charges, most of which were raised during the trial phase but overlooked. Justice Cannings, delivering the decision today, upheld all 3 grounds, noting that the National Court erred in this decision to dismiss all 4 counts of misappropriation.
The Supreme Court then heard his appeal and found that there were certain errors in the judgment on verdict that found him guilty for misappropriation. Therefore, the Supreme Court had overturned the decision on the conviction decision, stating that there were certain errors of fact that the National Court judge had made, especially when it came to Mr. Yafai's conduct, and that he was not the person that had verified the claim for Mr. Paul Paraka, and that it was another officer within the Department of Finance and not Mr. Yafai, which was the main reason why Mr. Yafai was convicted in the first place.
However, the court upheld the decision of the National Court in relation to the abuse of office and dismissed this appeal.
In terms of the decision for abuse of office, the Supreme Court stated that our appeal was dismissed and that the conviction will remain as it is. But for the abuse of office, 4 counts has been overturned and no longer conviction of guilt against Mr. Yafai.
With this decision, it has greatly impact on the appropriate sentence, and Justice Cannings noted that a leave had already been granted for an appeal on sentencing and ordered that this must be heard quickly. With the 4 misappropriation charges carrying a total sentencing time of 20 years and the abuse of office carrying 2 years, the decision today basically means 20 years of prison time has now been quashed.
The sentence of the National Court was that he was given 20 years for misappropriation and 2 years for abuse of office. The Supreme Court now has overturned the decision on misappropriation, which means that the sentence for misappropriation must also be set aside, which is the 20 years, and the remaining 2 years is still there. However, the Supreme Court decided not to make a decision on the sentence because they prefer that Mr. Yafai continues appeal on sentence, which is already filed an appeal on sentence, and then the Supreme Court can then deal with it at that time, meaning that it's still open for discretion.
Yafai welcomed the court's decision and thanked everyone who had stood beside him throughout this case, including his legal team.
And all I can say is God did it. He did it. That's God's hand on my life, and He did it. And I want to give praise and glory to God for what He had done today. And secondly, I had a good team of lawyers. Big thanks to my lawyer, Edward Sasigan. I think he's one of the great lawyers in the country, and he's done extremely well.
Yafai was sentenced for facilitating payments totaling 41.8 million kina to Paul Paraka lawyers without verifying the claims. Susan Oreape, TV1 News.
Prime Minister James Marape expressed concern following reports that Papua New Guinea's Chief Justice has been referred to a leadership tribunal describing the development as unprecedented and involving one of the nation's most important constitutional officers. Marape said the office of the Chief Justice embodies the rule of law and the administration of justice in Papua New Guinea, and therefore any developments affecting that office must be treated with the utmost seriousness and care.
Prime Minister James Marape has warned that any actions taken regarding the Chief Justice, Justice Gibbs Salika, must be conducted transparently and fairly, recognizing the potential repercussions for public confidence in the judiciary and governance as a whole. He says such matters can stir significant political and social discourse as the judiciary's independence is critical for upholding democratic principles and the rights of citizens. By calling for careful consideration of the situation, Marape advocated for due process and caution amid concerns about political interference in judicial matters. The Prime Minister last Friday directed the Chief Secretary to Government to convene an urgent meeting with senior officials to review the matter and ensure the integrity of the judiciary and constitutional processes is fully respected. He said the referral of the Chief Justice, the head of the judiciary, to the Ombudsman Commission raises serious constitutional considerations. He emphasized that the executive government respects the independence of constitutional officers, including the Ombudsman Commission, and will not interfere with their lawful duties. However, the Prime Minister said the government has a responsibility to understand the circumstances surrounding the referral and ensure the institutional integrity of the judiciary is safeguarded. Freddie Mo, TV1 News.
The National Banking Corporation is continuing its drive to support small and medium-sized businesses by hosting a mini SME forum in Popondetta. Business owners from Popondetta, Sorovi Block and Kokoda District attended this session. They met directly with NBCL staff to discuss banking needs and learn about services available to grow their operations. Head of Retail, Kili Tambua, says access to clear financial information is essential for SME confidence and long-term sustainability. He says NBCL aims to bring services closer to communities and promote financial inclusion. You are watching TV1 News. When we come back, Poroma to Kutubu Road upgrade and Divine Word University seals deal for training.
For too long, banking has felt out of reach for many. But now, BSP's One-Took Wallet is here to change that. Send and receive money, pay bills, and top up. It's your money, wherever, whenever. Because at BSP, we are committed to improving how our customers connect to our One-Talks, to our family, to the ones we love. BSP's One-Took Wallet. Money made easy. Dial *131# for everyone.
From the rich soils of the highlands, the finest coffee has been grown by generations of Papua New Guineans, expertly blended and roasted with over 80 years of experience, making the finest cup of Nescafe New Guinea blend, PNG's own coffee.
When you're all in, anything can happen. Grab a Coca-Cola and enjoy the moment.
The PNG LNG project has now generated more than 30 billion kina for Papua New Guinea since production commenced. Nearly half of this amount has been paid as tax. Equity distributions are paid to KPHL and MRDC based on the interest they hold. Tax is paid to the IRC, while development levies and royalties are paid to DPE. For more information on direct and indirect benefits, visit PNG EITI's website.
Show the dishes who's boss. Fight mess with Axion, the tough grease stripper. 100% effective at doing the dirty work. The triple active power breaks down tough grease, and its antibacterial formula leaves dishes squeaky clean. Get tough on grease. Get Axion.
You got scammed? Where did you get the money to pay them?
We mortgaged the house.
That's why it's so important for me to pass the board exam. So if you're looking for a girlfriend, well, I'm sorry. That's not me.
You already took our TV, come on!
What you're doing here is illegal.
If you wanted to take the legal route, well then, you should have borrowed from the bank.
You don't need to solve all your problems alone.
I'm just not used to having someone around who's willing to help me.
Well then get used to it, because I'm here.
There's never been a more important time to stay up to date and in the know.
At Bondi Beach, the feeling of grief and unease still lingers.
Every weeknight, we bring you the biggest international news from around the globe.
Washington says it will also take control of Venezuela's vast oil reserves.
So join me, Giris Saulani, for the latest stories in your world.
Rarely in the Islamic Republic's history has it appeared so vulnerable.
The World, weeknights on ABC Australia.
Welcome back. Since its grand launching at Pimaga Station in Kutubu by Prime Minister James Marape, the construction of the Poroma to Kutubu Road is yet to start. The 370 million kina road project was awarded to China Railway Construction Engineering with a distance of more than 100.2 kilometers.
The Poroma to Kutubu Road project, which was announced with great anticipation during its grand launch at Pimaga Station by Prime Minister James Marape, represents a significant infrastructure undertaking aimed at improving connectivity in Papua New Guinea. With a budget of 370 million kina and a distance of over 100.2 kilometers, the project has been awarded to China Railway Construction Engineering, a major player in infrastructure development. Though the official launch was celebrated, the fact that construction has yet to commence raises concerns and questions about project timelines, logistics, and any potential challenges that might be causing delays. This newsroom has requested updates from the Department of Works and Highways and was told to get updates from the Provincial Works Manager on the cause of the delay. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
The groundbreaking ceremony on the Engoram Road project took place on Friday, March 6th in Maprik, East Sepik Province. Minister for Works and Highways, Peter Siamalili Jr. said the Connect PNG program project is part of a broader regional investment that will transform connectivity across the Sepik region. To date, more than 2 million kina has been invested in road infrastructure across the East Sepik. The Karaitem to Lumi valued at 800 million kina, the Nimprim Bridge to Warasikau Bridge, and the Engoram to Wiwek Road project valued at 382 million kina. The government anticipates that this public infrastructure will enable local community activities to thrive. Serving the nation with quality education over 30 years is the theme for this academic year for Divine Word University. The theme was also honored during the institution's 44th graduation held last week. In enhancing quality tertiary education, the university has received a check of 15 million kina towards its continued infrastructural development.
At the Divine Word University's 44th graduation, held recently in Medang, Minister for the Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, Kinoka Feo, delivered a 15 million kina check to complete projects currently underway on campus. Feo said Divine Word University is among the top performing institutions within the Pacific region, and as a gesture of the government's support and appreciation, the 15 million kina would be used for infrastructural development as Divine Word continues to provide quality education. In addition, the minister confirmed that Treasury had already released the warrants for tertiary institutions. Students have been assured that the first quarter payments for hackers and testers and the HELP program will soon be disbursed.
For infrastructure purposes, again, fixing maintenance, whatever the needs is for the universities, for them to be able to invest in the infrastructure, have good infrastructure, enroll more students, increase enrollment, and everything else that goes in there.
University's President, Professor Father Philip Gibbs, welcomed the assistance. He confirmed that the funding will be utilized to complete many of the infrastructure developments already taking place at the Medang campus. Divine Word University last year made a tough decision to deregister hundreds of its students under the government scholarship program for non-payment. The payments were received early this year. President Father Gibbs stated that when government components are not paid on time, the institution depends on parental components to keep its operations going, halting other developments. The President is grateful that this year has kicked off well and is anticipating smooth operations.
There's a lot of infrastructural work we need to do, so it's very, very welcome. It's also very welcome to the news that the funding, such as through TESAS or HELP, is going to be given to the universities sooner rather than later, because last year it was a real difficulty. We actually got a cash flow issue problem because of the lateness of that.
Feo acknowledged the vision and mission of the early missionaries who established the institution and the roadmap it followed to its current status. He notably highlighted the institution's advancement in providing quality education aligned with DHES's vision in producing refined human resources for the country and leaders who continue to transform the nation.
Great institutions are not built overnight. They are built through vision, sacrifice, courage, and faith. Divine Word University is today a shining oasis in the educational landscape of Papua New Guinea. Its growth and transformation have been guided by many dedicated leaders.
Alice Peter, TVWAN News, Medang.
Transparency International Papua New Guinea has welcomed 2 final year communications students from the Papua New Guinea University of Technology, marking the start of TIPNG's 2026 Industrial Training Program. The 13-week placement runs from February to May and represents the first time TIPNG has engaged trainees from the University School of Communication and Development Studies. Their work includes updating voter education materials and assisting with election campaign briefs. The partnership with PNG UOT is part of TIPNG's broader effort to strengthen national integrity systems by giving emerging professionals real-world exposure to communication challenges in governance sector. After 4 long years of negotiations, the Divine Word University and Madang Provincial Health Authority signed a memorandum of agreement recently to advance inclusive training and better service delivery for both parties.
While training was the major agenda, both parties are supportive of the involvement of DW staff during the signing of the Memorandum of Agreement between Divine Word University and the Madang Provincial Health Authority. The president of Divine Word, Professor Father Philip Gibbs, said the delay was the cause of the indemnity features of the agreement. Father Gibbs also elaborated that for many years, Divine Word University has been dedicated to forming health professionals who are not only competent but also compassionate and committed to service, adding that this agreement allows students to learn from the experience and dedication of health professionals facing real challenges and making real difference in people's lives. Chief Executive Officer of the Madang Provincial Health Authority, Dr. Martin Diamond, was pleased that after 4 long years of negotiations, the final version of the MOA has been achieved and ready for signing. He acknowledged the Modilon General Hospital as being a training ground for most health professionals after Port Moresby General Hospital, and it is a breakthrough for both institutions in finally having a legal document as an instrument to quality professional standards. Dr. Diamond stated that infrastructure development for trainee graduates is already in place, providing a conducive environment for training development. He said a 60-unit quota for graduates to do residency is in place and will be constructed soon, not only for Modilon General Hospital, but they are also keen on carrying out development for district health facilities. The signing signifies a continued partnership from a private and public institution in providing improved healthcare and services to the people of Madang and the nation. Alice Peter, TVWAN News, Madang.
In finance news, the kina closed lower at $0.2323 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our kina was buying $0.2248 US, 0.3183 Australian dollars, 0.1868 euro, and 35.33 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, oil closed higher, except gold and copper closed lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, ASX closed lower, and all ordinaries closed lower as well. TV1 News continues when we return. Stay with us.
Banking doesn't have to be complicated. With PSP's One Talk Wallet, control your money wherever, whenever. Dial *131#, enter your PIN, select cash in or out, and generate a secure code to withdraw cash. It's the only wallet for cardless ATM withdrawals. Send and receive funds, pay for goods and bills, or withdraw cash with ease. All with PSP's One Talk Wallet. PSP's One Talk Wallet. Money made easy. Dial *131# today.
Rugby League is a powerful force that unites Papua New Guinea and develops our youth. Through partnerships with the PNG LNG Kumals, Grassroots Rugby League and Justin Olam, we aim to instill skills to last a lifetime.
I'm community blue. When it's on you welcome, I'm a community. You must all community.
When we invest in people, we invest in tomorrow's possibilities.
Head back to school with Colgate and Protex. Win big! big! Lots of great prizes to win for your school. To enter, use your favorite Colgate and Protex products. Keep all your empty packets, take them to school and give them to your teacher. Visit the Colgate Pacific PNG Facebook page for more info on how to register. Win school supplies, sporting equipment, and more, all for your school with Colgate and Protex. Promotion ends March 31st, 2026.
Long year 2024, 7 pla baby i born one time HIV. HIV ikan go long baby long triple rot. Time bel mama ikat HIV, long time long karim baby, na time baby isusu. Tasol yumi can help him bel mama, long look out him baby inside long bell. Go quick time long bel mama clinic, na kiss him antenatal check. Time yumi pan him sick HIV ariap, o time bel mama i positive penis, early treatment i can save him baby. Give him baby healthy start long life. Stop him spread long sick HIV ego long baby. This lutok sawe ikam long National AIDS Council Secretariat.
Ready for the world, so is your TISA Visa card. Visa keeps you moving wherever you go, Papua New Guinea or abroad. Seamlessly pay for travel, dining, online shopping. Easily access your funds and instantly track your expenses. Every tap comes with security, trust, and peace of mind. Unlock the world of possibilities. And it all starts with the new TISA Visa card.
This March, the drama gets bigger. Much bigger. Get ready for an explosive lineup of entertainment dramas.
Wow! Stop long way, Romina.
We ask him question, is it so, Daniela?
From heart-stopping romance to jaw-dropping twists.
What's going on? What's happening to you?
Stay away from me! Stay away from me!
My son is alive.
This is the month you won't want to miss.
Where do I sign?
Watch it all right here on TVWAN Plus.
I am not like her and I will never be like her.
Digicel TV, your home of entertainment.
Thanks for staying with us. Turning abroad, oil prices are being pushed higher as the war in the Middle East continues. In the U.S., the global oil benchmark topped more than $100 a barrel for the first time since 2022. Kevin Morrison is an energy finance analyst at the Institute for Energy Economics and Financial Analysis. He believes Australia is very vulnerable if the conflict in the Middle East is prolonged.
Being is really our vulnerability is our lack of stockpiles, and why is that important? Well, if we just measure petrol and diesel, which are the two fuels that we consume the most here in Australia, we've only got about 25 days left. That's based on government statistics, and the last of those was for the end of December. So what they are as of today, I don't know, but it'd be somewhere in that ballpark. Nevertheless, that's not a long period of time. And so we are vulnerable. It makes us vulnerable to price rises, and what we've seen with the wholesale price, that's the international price of oil. We've seen that rise 20% over the past week. Kuwait and what we see with other oil producers is because the Straits of Hormuz is shut. Well, rather, Iran is threatened to blow up any ships that go through there, except its own. That they don't have the storage capacity to keep on producing. So because the shipping is being constrained, that if they keep producing, they've got to store that production somewhere, and they're running out of storage capacity themselves. So that's what's limiting their ability to produce further oil. A couple of key areas that Australia is very vulnerable. So as I mentioned, petrol, diesel, but also gas. Fortunately, local gas prices haven't risen. But what we've got to consider, particularly here on the East Coast, is that the domestic gas price here on the East Coast is quite linked to the Asian gas price, and that's mainly measured in the LNG, because not only is the Strait of Hormuz important for oil supplies, but it's also very important for gas supplies, because we've got one of the world's biggest producers there, Qatar, Both Qatar and the UAE, between them, that they account for about 20% of global LNG supplies. And so if that's cut off, that's had a big, most of that gas flows to Asia. And so what we've seen, both in Asia as well as in Europe, we've seen a very strong rise in the gas price, actually far stronger than what we've seen in the oil price. In the past couple of days, I mean, if we wind the clock back a few weeks, the US told India that it didn't want it to buy any more oil from Russia, because both India and China, which are both big oil importers, they were the biggest buyers of Russian oil. So these sanctions haven't impacted China, because I think China will probably ignore them anyway. But with India, the US told India, look, you can't buy any more Russian oil. But that's now been reprieved until April the 4th. What the US has said in their rationale for that decision is that it would only affect the oil that's actually on the water at the moment, that's in transportation, in order to not disrupt global oil supplies.
The situation in Iran has deteriorated significantly in the past 48 hours. The ABC has been barely able to reach anyone on the ground because of massive internet blackouts. For Iranian journalists living in exile and working for opposition network, Iran International in London, the death of Ayatollah Khamenei has brought relief and hope. The harassment and threats to their lives might stop.
Living in exile, these Iranian journalists beam news back to their people still living inside Tehran's repressive regime. Fariba Shirazi was the one who broke the news of the US-Israeli strikes to her viewers.
I was shocked, full of emotion, so much happiness, and at the same time so much tears.
In 2017, Iran International established its first newsroom in London, employing hundreds of journalists who'd fled Iran for their own safety. Executive news editor Ali Ashgar Ramanzapur compares the death of Iran's supreme leader to the fall of the Soviet Union.
It was huge. I couldn't believe it.
Do you think that the death of Ayatollah Khamenei will lead to regime change?
There is no sign of recovery. They have lost the influence and power inside Iran. This situation, I think it can't last more than a few weeks.
While the death of Ayatollah Khamenei has reduced the risk faced by journalists here, it's by no means removed it. The regime is yet to topple, and its tentacles reach far and wide, including to here in the United Kingdom.
As the regime is on its last legs, it will lash out because they'll feel that they have nothing to lose. It's not going to be a rational calculation.
As these journalists continue to report on this widening war, many have no idea if their loved ones are safe.
I haven't heard from my sisters or my mom, and I'm so concerned about that.
For those in exile, Iran isn't yet an option, but they're hoping if the regime falls, they might finally be able to return home.
The coalition says it would likely support the government if it sent military assistance to the Middle East. The Albanese government says it's considering a request for assistance from the Gulf states, but Foreign Minister Penny Wong insists Australia will not engage in offensive action against Iran.
It's not clear what exactly we're being asked for, just that we are being asked to help with the protection of those countries against missile and drone strikes. It's not clear also what country this has come from, one of the Persian Gulf states, so that could be the UAE, it could be Oman or Saudi Arabia. The Foreign Minister, Penny Wong, says that she's considering this request, that she will be as transparent as possible about what Australia's decision is. And overnight, she has added that families of diplomats in the UAE should be coming home, and reiterating that report that all Australians should not be travelling to Dubai. Now, we've heard from the Shadow Foreign Minister, Ted O'Brien, this morning as well. He says it is ideal in these situations that a decision to send troops or technology would get bipartisan support, and he suspects the coalition would support the government if it chose to send troops or technology.
As far as I'm concerned, the United States and Israel have been doing the heavy lifting for the free world here. We have supported in a bipartisan fashion their strikes on Iran. Now that we see other countries in the Gulf under attack and a request has been made of the Australian government, then we'll await the briefing. But we'll be considering things in our national interest. And I believe, given the United States and Israel have been doing the heavy lifting in everyone's national interest, anyone who believes in the free world, in freedom, I believe they have been doing the work. So we'll see what the government has to say. If it's in our national interest, I believe they'll have bipartisan support.
Isabel, what's been the reaction to this request?
Well, there has been some pushback from the Greens. They're calling this mission creep. They say that we started as a country supporting the US and Israel through a statement. Then there was the situation where there were 2 Australians on a submarine that bombed an Iranian vessel. Now the Greens say we're actively considering whether or not to deploy some sort of support to the Gulf states. The Greens say that we should be instead protecting our own citizens and not getting directly involved. But when she's been asked about it, the Foreign Minister Penny Wong has said that we are not going to be taking part in any offensive attacks on Iran, and that we would not be sending troops to the Middle East.
It's the busiest weekend on the mid-March calendar, and Adelaide's perfect weather has led to record crowds across the city's Adelaide Fringe events. Festival goers have also been turning out in droves at Womb Adelaide, besides travel chaos from the war in the Middle East leading to some last-minute changes.
Of the best in music and arts from around the world. But travel restrictions caused by conflict on the other side of the globe left Womb Adelaide organisers scrambling.
We did have that sense it was a little bit like 2020 when COVID was approaching.
5 acts had to pull out from this year's lineup, with WOMAD quickly rebooking flights.
I suppose $150,000 of extra cost, but you know, having the festival go ahead, it's a worthwhile investment, absolutely.
The festival says it recorded its biggest attendance on Saturday night since 2023. The blue skies and sunshine have also delivered a much-needed box office boost to Adelaide Fringe artists after last weekend's wild weather forecast led to a huge drop-off in ticket sales.
Yesterday was our biggest day ever in terms of ticket sales and numbers of people.
While the full impact of the sales slump is still unclear, the huge crowd numbers are feeding optimism.
Really good. The rides and stuff and people around are really good, yeah.
You can obviously tell with the amount of crowds that are around, so yeah, it's fantastic.
Adelaide's Mad March living up to its name.
You are watching TVWAN News. Later in sports, hunters show resilience and Goroka League receives kits.
Every growing child needs the best care to help them grow physically, socially, intellectually, and emotionally. That's why I choose Tender Care. It keeps skin clean and fresh and is hypoallergenically tested for gentle and safe protection. So my child can be protected for all of life's adventures. Tender Care.
Long year 2024, 7 pla baby I born one time HIV. HIV I can go long baby long triple rot. Time bel mama I get HIV, long time long carrying baby, na time baby I susu. Tasol Yumi can help him bel mama, long look out him baby inside long bell. Go quick time long bell mama clinic, na kiss him antenatal check. Time Yumi pan him sick HIV area, or time bell mama I positive penis, early treatment I can save him baby. Give him baby healthy start long life. Stop him spread long sick HIV I go long baby. This lutok sawe I come long National AIDS Council Secretariat.
Meet YumiPay, your digital wallet from TISA Bank. Your gateway to seamless transactions. Withdraw cash anytime at your nearest TISA agent. Send money to family and friends anytime, anywhere. Top up and pay with just a scan. From taxis to coffee and small businesses. UmiPay makes every payment simple. UmiPay, powered by TISA Bank.
Do you want the best? Digicel TV has it all. Enjoy the latest football, Premier League, La Liga, and FA Cup. Stay entertained with HSBC 7, Top 14 Rugby, and more. All in high definition, not to mention international and local news. Home entertainment with a whole lot of Filipino dramas and more. Subscribe to a 40-channel postpaid TV package for 105 kina and stay entertained. But wait, there's more. With this package, you can watch Digicel TV on your mobile phone for free. No data cost and no additional subscription. Call us now on toll-free number 1515 to set up your monthly postpaid TV subscription today. Digicel TV. More channels, more choices, more value.
Tune in to TVWAN weekdays for the midday news update.
We are sitting under the shade of the Samaritan Basin.
Get the latest stories at home and abroad.
You don't commit crimes or violence. You have nothing to worry about the immigrants here.
And what's making headlines in sports and entertainment?
Watch the TVWAN midday news today.
In the stadium erupts.
Only on TVWAN.
It is World Cup Rugby League. How good is it to be back united? Oh, straight out of the top draw. Playing for his family and his country. A real festival of rugby league.
Welcome back. Victoria's Central Queensland Capras coach Lionel Harbin commanded his team for the dominant start to their 2026 QRL Host Plus Cup campaign, following the hard-fought 24-16 win over the resilient PNG Hunters outfit on Sunday at the Santos National Football Stadium. After the match, he commented that they expected a physical battle against the PNG boys and wanted to start strong and set some standards early.
Richard right under the sticks and I think is claiming a try. Confirmation for the match.
Capras coach Lionel Harbin was particularly pleased with the way the boys started the first half, piling on 22 unanswered points before the home boys fought back in the second stanza.
Yeah, I thought the first half was really good for us. You know, we knew the Hunters were going to come out in that second half and apply a lot of pressure to us, and they did a really good job of fighting their way back into the game. And, you know, lucky for us, we were just able to hang on.
Coach further commented that coming up against the PNG Hunters was always tough and very physical, and they were well prepared to set their standards early in the contest.
We knew it was going to be a physical game, and you know, we wanted to set the standard there. And I thought Valentine, Richard, he really did a good job there, and I thought he was one of our best players on the ground. And I thought Tane and Nixon also did a good job through the middle also, and and Trey Brown for us played 80 minutes. So I thought our middles did a really good job. It's something really to build on for the rest of the year. We love coming up here. Obviously it's really important for us with our players coming back, and Bobby, Roderick's joined us this year, and Nixon, Seb John and Val. It's really important that, we come back here and play well for those guys, and, we did a good job today.
Capras captain Tala Stepanovsky also commented about the physicality of the match, adding there will be some sore bodies after the match.
Yeah, very good performance from the boys. We knew it was going to be very tough coming up here to PNG, in front of a PNG crowd, so we're very happy with how we turned up and our enthusiasm throughout the game. Yeah, very, very physical. I'll be nice and sore on the way home tomorrow, probably for the next 3 days. They're always physical, always a really good challenge for us.
Meanwhile, Coach Harbin expressed appreciation for the support, saying they always love coming up to Port Moresby. He thanked the crowd for getting behind the boys, which is important for the PNG boys in the team to play in front of their families once again. Terry Longwood, TVWAN Sports.
Despite a poor first-half performance riddled with errors and ill discipline, PNG Hunters coach Paul Eitan was proud of the efforts put in the second half, though they didn't get the result expected. From 22-0 down at half-time, the Hunters returned relentlessly in the second half, scoring 3 tries to trail 16-24 while holding the Capras with a mere 2 points.
It's only one more. Is he on? I think he's...
From a 22-point deficit at halftime, the PNG Hunters came out of the sheds with a change of mindset and renewed confidence, resulting in 3 unanswered tries to trail by 8 points. However, several unfavorable calls from the match official didn't help their cause, and they had to endure defending their line until full time. Hunters coach Paul Eitan was critical of the calls, especially the number of 6-again calls that took a lot of stings out of the boys' defence.
Oh, I'm very proud of the boys. The amount of possession that the opposition had, yeah, they were dominant because we gave them so much ball. I wasn't very happy with the amount of six agains that they had. I thought it's got to go both ways. You know, it makes footy a bit more interesting. Because once you lose those 6 mauls and the amount of pressure those boys are under, it just, you know, it's not good for the game, let's say.
Eitan went on to praise the new boys and how they are connecting with the experienced group, which is a work in progress. Moving forward, Eitan wanted to get more clarification on the 6-again rules. He also stressed the importance of holding possession for longer and being disciplined. Commenting on the new halves combo of Jamie Mavoko and debutant Joel Genna, Coach Eitan revealed Mavoko was not feeling too well before the game but turned up on the day. He added Joel was not at his best but believes he'll get better as the season progresses. The coach was particularly pleased with Miles Barnum's performance and scoring his first try on debut.
I'll get clarification on these 6 mauls and penalties, and obviously hold the ball. You know, we do enough of it, but I'll just put it down to first game nerves. Yeah, I'm happy with them. I mean, Jamie was really ill. I'm very, very proud of him that he showed up today and gave his best. And Joel, it's unfortunate that he was sent for 10, but he'll get better as the season goes on. Great combo. Well done to Miles as well. Got a try on his debut, so really happy for him and Big Himpson as well.
Captain Ilalu echoed the same sentiments. He is proud of the boys' efforts, but added there is still plenty to improve on.
Yeah, we just had a really slow start first half. Had a lot of ending errors, just defended all, tried to come back in the second half, but time made the best of it. But yeah, proud of the boys for their effort. I'm not kept enough for each other, back-to-back sets for first half. The score could have gone away from us, but full credit the Mangi kept enough for each other. A lot of things to work on, and that's something that we're going to build up on through the week.
Terry Longwood, TVWAN Sports.
The PNG Chiefs leadership has pushed back against repeated references by some commentators describing the club's proposed player accommodation as a compound. Chief Executive Officer Lorna McPherson and General Manager Football Michael Chalmers claim that use of the term misrepresents what the club is planning for players.
Isn't it?
The PNG Chiefs General Manager Michael Chalmers clarified the situation during an NRL podcast with James Graham, explaining that the PNG Chiefs have a decent village for its players rather than the compound suggested by many NRL experts. Chalmers said the club's plan is to provide a modern and comfortable living environment for players who will represent Papua New Guinea in the NRL come 2028 onwards.
I'm glad you didn't use the C word, Jimmy, because everyone's been using this C word, the compound. We're not calling it the compound, all right? It's the village, it's the resort. Yeah. You didn't use it, which is good, but everyone else is.
I think it's disrespectful to use the word compound. I don't like that language at all.
No, because that's not what it's going to be like. And people, and I did the same. And my wife, you Google things about Papua New Guinea and you think, okay, this is how it's going to be. But it's not going to be like that. Of course, we're going to take every security measure necessary to make sure the players and their partners and families are safe. But you're not going to be locked up inside in a hotel or a compound, as they're saying, and never leave just to train. That's not how it's going to be. And it's our job to create an environment that these players love, that their families love.
CEO of PNG Chiefs, Lorna McPherson, also defended the concept, saying people unfamiliar with life in Papua New Guinea often misunderstand the situation. Having spent more than 15 years living and working in the country, McPherson said she has personally found Port Moresby to be a comfortable place to live. McPherson believes players who join the PNG Chiefs will enjoy both their time with the club and their experience living in the country.
So we're going to physically build it and create the right environment for everybody as well. Make sure that people be able to enjoy it, families will feel at home, and it's creating the right atmosphere, because I think that's what Michael said, was the fact that it's all about making sure that we do the right thing by the players as well. So we'll create that environment. So we're working on that.
She added that the club is focused on creating a professional environment that will help attract top rugby league talent while also showcasing Papua New Guinea to the wider rugby league world. The Chiefs leadership is working towards building strong systems on and off the field, including providing best accommodation for the players to ensure the franchise becomes successful. More than 60,000 people have signed a petition urging the Australian government to grant asylum to the Iranian women's national football team amid fears the players could face punishment when they return home. This was according to Fox Sports Australia as the team ramps up its participation in the AFC Women's Asia Cup. So far, the Australian government has not publicly responded to the petition. The petition calls on the Australian government to allow the athletes to remain in Australia following their participation in the AFC Women's Asia Cup. The call for asylum comes after the Iranian players reportedly staged a silent protest during the tournament ahead of the opening match against South Korea in Gold Coast last Monday. The team stood motionless and did not sing the national anthem. The action took place just 2 days after tensions escalated in the Middle East, with the United States and Israel reportedly launching missile strikes against Iran. Following the protest, reports emerged that some critics in Iran labeled the players wartime traitors, raising concerns about their safety should they return home. However, the situation appeared to change ahead of Iran's second match against Australia on Thursday at Gold Coast again. Before the game, the players saluted and sang their national anthem, which Iran eventually lost 4-0. The sudden change prompted speculation that the team may have been instructed by authorities in Iran to sing the anthem. Human rights supporters and football fans have since voiced concerns about the pressure the players may be under and the potential consequences they could face. That wraps up the sports segment. Now the weather forecast. In regional forecast, southern Port Moresby and Papandeta mostly fine, Kerema and Alatau partly cloudy, Mamase, Ley and Madang partly cloudy with possible few showers, Vanimo cloudy periods with few showers, New Guinea Islands, Kavieng partly cloudy, Kimbe and Buka cloudy with some rain showers, and Highlands region, Mount Hagen partly cloudy with possible evening showers, Medi, Tari and Wabeg cloudy with some few rain showers. Ocean forecast for PNG areas for the next 24 hours. Coral Sea, sea slight to moderate with northwesterly winds of 10 to 20 knots. Solomon Sea, sea slight to moderate with easterly winds of 10 to 15 knots. Bismarck Sea, sea slight with east to southeast winds of 10 to 15 knots. Pacific Ocean, sea slight with northeast winds of 10 to 15 knots. And coastal waters forecast, waters of southern PNG Indonesian border to Daru to Kioi Island, Kerema, Yule Island, Hood Point to Samarai Island, seas 1 to 1.5 meters, rising to 3 meters at times along the strong wind warning areas. Waters of Insafen through VTS Strait to CRC Long Island to Madang, and waters of New Britain and Bougainville seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. And that ends the news tonight. Thanks for your company. Good night.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by